Okay.
I bet the salmon is the dog.
I'm sure he saw me.
I'd say that's quite the sandbar over there.
Yeah.
Got the underside.
Yeah, that's cool. We should really put an album together.
We still have an escort, huh?
And then let the kids like.
That's a nice trail. Look at that around the
Yeah.
It looks like he's slowing
walking
down.
trail. It's neat.
Yeah, I like what he does with her.
You like this one? You like this one?
Oh,
Hello.
Who's on Vancouver Island? Is that one?
Yes, this one over here. It's Vancouver Island. You're going to be sailing right past Victoria. Who else is over there? Nobody?
I think there's a part.
Okay, so everything is 15%. Okay. Or you can grab this one if you get two. Second is half price. Oh. Did you have it?
Yeah, nice price, I bet.
Yeah.
What do you want for your? I know.
Oh, usually his desk is right in front. Yeah, because usually these, when you go up there, there's sort of like a little small desk area.
$16.8 million acres. That's the size of the state of West Virginia. This whole area of southeastern Alaska is all covered in this same rainforest. Anyone been to any other rainforests than this? Where at?
Hawaii.
Puerto Rico? Species in this forest, and it's the state tree of Alaska, these Sitka spruces. Now I'm going to do my best to teach you how to identify these trees. If we get really lucky later on, see something really cool like a bald eagle, it's much easier for me to say, look, there's a bald eagle on that Sitka spruce, than look, there's a bald eagle in that tree. Exactly. So when I think of these Sitka spruces, I think of fish. Every time I told anyone in my family I was moving to Alaska, they kept talking about all the fish I would eat. So I think of fish, and it just so happens that these Sitka spruces, their bark peels off kind of in a scaly shape. If we look behind us, there's a very disparate amount of biodiversity. The Amazon has 6,000 different species of tree. We have 4 species of tree, which is great because I can actually show them all to you. In fact, we have a 4-tree guarantee or your money back, I promise you. But up here in Alaska, this area has been covered in snow and ice for such a long time that other species haven't had the time to come and adapt and end up in this forest. So it's fairly limited biodiversity. Almost all the plants, except the mosses, you can count. There's maybe a total of 40 plants, counting the trees, excluding the mosses out here. So it's a very friendly forest to learn.
Still a little foggy in Ketchikan. Here's my first bald eagle.
It's like the roots of the fungus, and all those strands, they fill that snag, and they're everywhere under our feet, this big mattress.
gold rushers poured into the new tent cities of Skagway and Dyea. This influx of people helped facilitate.
Goose.
Yeah, goose.
Back there.
Coming up to Rocky Point.
Yeah, I know, that's what I've been doing. Big goal. That's the one. That's not the one I'm going to show you. We got another one. Alright, here's the pipeline. It's going to be quick. Hear it. It's in 5, 4, 3, 2.5, 1 for you, right? Oh yeah, that's like goes like swift.
And it just disappears into the clouds.
That looks right. There's Avery Delta too.
Here comes the trestle. We're going across.
Wow, that's loud.
Awesome. So this is the beginning of our trail, you guys. We're doing the Trail of Time. Feel free to grab a quick pic if you want. But for this first stretch, I really like to stay silent. That way you guys get the opportunity to take it in for yourselves this first time. So be listening for things, be looking for things, and then we're going to talk about it at the end of this stretch here. Cool? Alright, let's get going.
Okay.
So this is Sheep Creek. This is who we saw on our way coming in. And this is where our salmon comes to spawn. The flies really like to land on these guys. If you are around some cow parsnip, I definitely recommend not touching it. It's UV activated, so if you touch it, it kind of acts like poison ivy and can give you like a little rash. I used to think that it was just the sap on the inside if you cut it open, and so I would say like, oh yeah, it's fine if you touch it, and I would show people and touch it. And then I drove the bus and was listening to someone else talk about cow parsnip, where they were telling their guests, oh yeah, it's UV activated. I said, it's UV what? It's what now? So this is cow parsnip. Definitely don't let him touch you. Shannon, you good? She's good. My dad's there. Okay, good. Okay, good. Yeah. Monkeys or anything like that, like I did. It is not. It is actually a side effect of something called isostatic rebound. So during the little ice age, when the glacier, little hole for them. So that is Mr. Sitka spruce. He is our state tree along this way, covered in moss. If you've seen the movie Frozen 2, I call them trolls, and I call this Troll Way. But these guys are made of granite, and they're called glacial erratics. So when the glacier raked through here like a big bulldozer, it dropped off all of these rocks, and they're called glacial erratics. One of the reasons, I'm going to talk to you guys here before we get on the bridge, just because it gets pretty loud. Notice we've got this baby hemlock starting to grow on top of this moss on this rock over here. So this bridge is where we're going to play around with long exposure. So and they just kind of put this cabin here, which it's ironic that it's called Built to Last because the original one was definitely not built to last. This one's only about 18 years old, but it just stands here to kind of show you that you used to be able to see the glacier from this point. So as the glacier raked through here, it created opportunity for new forest growth. So the closer and closer we get to the glacier, the newer the forest is becoming. Called club moss, and even though it's a moss, it acts in a vine in that all of this and all of this back here is all one giant piece. It's all connected. But notice these rose looking things. They almost look like wooden roses. There's one right here, one right here. That is actually a deformation caused by an insect. So the insects will come and lay eggs on the tips of these willows before they're matured. And okay, so this guy's cool. See how he's got these levels to him, just like stairs? Cool thing about him, each one of these levels represents a year of its life. So this guy's looking about 4 years old. I've pulled some that are like 8, 9, 10 years old. Super cool. Inevitably, again.
Sure.
Yeah,
Lovely. We'll treat.
Take a picture.
Yeah. That's just the inside of that circle there.
Yeah.
Can I get my family over here? All right. Well, see
Thank
you
you
very
so
much.
much.
Thank you.
You guys want one?
Yeah, and
They can get their own guys.
where this loop goes?
Oh, you guys are so great.
We come from this way.
No, not necessarily. It's just.
That one looks like a dog.
Yeah.
And there's purple flowers.
Yeah, it is here. Everyone lives right here. Yeah. Did you guys can you get off or down? Typically, everyone gets off. Sorry.
It's okay. He has
Yeah,
a
well,
fish.
I've mentioned that.
You're swimming ashore. That's what she went back. Yeah.
O'clock. Halfway to shore. Oh, I did it again. That was a quick one. There it is. Hang down on top. Who was rocking the boat?
Based on Earth, my AIS is off. Does that mean I can go faster than 30 knots?
There he is.
Oh my God, tail. Give me a tail, give me a tail. Yeah! Woo! Hey, Brett.
90 inches of rain and 100 inches of snow per year. Some of the trees you may notice are the western hemlock, the Sitka spruce, and red oak. Tasty Alaska seafood featuring halibut and crab, as well as a large variety.
As of late, we've had the biggest house girl we've had with her in the past decade. She now has cataracts in her right eye, her only good eye. Therefore, we're actively trying to procure a raptor ophthalmologist to come give her the necessary procedure. She's so desperate.
Oh my gosh. Oh. Oh, wow. Why is there no railing?
Jeez, the black flies.
So you can stick your feet over the edge.
No.
Right, this is what you do. Like this?
Let's do this.
Oh, there's the railing?
Oh, it's still on the ground.
Down there.
It's sitting on the ground. Well, that must have hurt someone.
Put your toes in.
That's very pretty. You need to get tighter where your feet will lie by the black flies.
Okay, on the ledge, people.
Had that on video.
I'm good. I'm good. You live to tell another tale. Yeah, I've almost fell on a mountain.
Go up the side and use those trees. I got a thorn in my thing. Ah! That's so cold.
No snowball fighting.
There's about 5. Jamie!
There's where we were.
I have a better picture from my last trip.
Honestly, Connor, this is like a station in Arkansas going.
You can almost see the trestle.
Almost. Nice thing about being on a train, you don't have to see where you're going.
Look at our train floating.
Okay, we're still in the wait. Question: question, are we still not in Alaska until this thing stops back in Alaska? Mm-hmm. Yeah, so we're technically in the Yukon until we stop in Skagway. Then we can be in Skagway, but then we can be in Skagway, Yukon. Nice. Yeah, we're gonna be in Skagway, Yukon.
Now leaving the Yukon.
Back to Alaska.
And there's the marker for the border. See the old bridge, Fiona?
On FaceTime, sorry.
Is that
All right, folks, we're going a little bit slower here. Now, that train we passed up the summit, we're just waiting for them to get a little further down the mountain, so that's why we're going slow. No worries.
about my luggage? I have this dress I bought in the West. That's kind of like, it's like the young girls. And I want, I'm gonna stay. How do we get back? It's not, but it is.
You have wood on that one too.
We don't.
Sorry?
Oh, there's something in my eye.
You know Google Maps has a shake filter?
We look better.
Yeah, I know, yeah.
Yeah.
There's a whole bunch of cruise ships, they all have to do the same thing, they have to get on the lifeboat.
There's ice up there. That's shiny. Shiny ice. Oh, shit, it's sitting there, right?
What I've seen in places like the Amazon, check out this root spread. This root goes all the way up over there, look, where our feet are. Goes up and over this rock, goes all the way over there. Look where that tree's growing, right on top of a rock. So, trail. Good rule of thumb right there. Yeah, don't fall left. You gotta appreciate it, you know?
I'm holding them up.
Oh,
Jordan goes. He goes. You guys were here my front over. I was jumping off.
Hopefully we're not rocking through that. Yeah.
that was just weird.
Hey, what's holding this tree up?
Hopefully not us.
Not much. Or maybe away to the top of the tree.
Vaguely, yeah, actually. I've also read bears love those things, and if they
These like Amazon packages or whatever. And yeah. What was really cool about that flight is, you know, they do all the whale watching tours in Juneau. So I saw all the boats that were just, it's so hard to get up here, like, just go and get a little experience of everything takes a lot of time. So an animal that we don't ever really see, well, apparently one person saw him last week on tour, one of my co-guys, but see evidence quite a bit of is right here. We got that beaver. So they go and they chew on that, and they go and spit it down there, and the other half winds up down there. So this is an island, just on the other side there. So we'll go and meet up with this water maybe 200 meters from now. If you haven't had a chance for a really ripe, yeah. So it's turning into a swimming adventure. Yeah. Honestly, if I want to go back to go ahead and put your hand in the water and maybe go further up that. Please.
You want to go in front of me?
There's about 10 different glaciers that make up this river. Too much. Find a nice little current and
arms out and act as a sail. Hold your hats.
So you're doing Titanic.
Catch
The
all the
tallest peaks that you can get to from Skyway itself. And about half of that nest actually came down in a storm a couple of years ago. So it used to be pretty big.
Is it occupied normally?
It is.
Right now?
Yeah. Another guide and I, we saw, came out here for a fun run. We saw eagles come back, feed the eaglets.
They're up in Illinois by our house.
Yeah.
And one year, it got to be late October, early November. It was super cold. It was looking at that month.
Yeah.
Hi.
Just tell them that was the slowest part. Yeah. This should look familiar. So much of this shoreline every single year, there's about 65 feet a year gets lost. So you can see all that erosion. Like that tree, it's not, you know, if it's gonna fall this week, it's like, where are we gonna see it a week from now? You can also see that blue marker.
Yeah.
So the National Park Service goes around with what's all intents and purposes a big metal detector, just looking for what they call historic debris, looking for stuff from the time of the There we go. There was our
Very pretty.
Get a picture with the moon.
Oh, I imagine we're pulling off to the side so they can go first.
Heading into Glacier Bay.
That wideness is a necessity and that mountain parks are useful as fountains of life. Today, Western sell on their flippers, which is why they are so often referred to as sausages on ice, rolling and scooting along on their fleshy bellies. So we are looking at a seal off the port side of the ship right about now at 11 o'clock. So the icebergs of Johns Hopkins Inn as a nursery to have their pups and keep them safe from any threats that might be traveling by. So we're not going to get any closer to the mama seals and their pups. We want to give them plenty of space. But services to all of those people who want to come see the park. But of course, in Glacier Bay, 95% of those visitors will be arriving by way of cruise ship, like yours. A maximum of 2 cruise serve as fingerprints for whale researchers to identify individual animals. So since we've been conducting the longest continuous humpback whale research study in the world, it must be
Well, by the time I make it down there, after all that.
You have to listen to them. Yeah, you're gonna wait till.
I didn't know it was yours or not.
I don't know.
No, no, it will sit as long as it's up the other way. But, yeah. It's getting a little bit worse, so we can always,
Stay room this time perhaps.
Last time there was a boat that was falling on the end.
oh, there's something back there.
In the Glacier Bay National Park, we are about to disembark our ranger, and I would like to thank them all for everything they have done for us today. Daniel was in the theater.
Right there, look.
Yeah, there's a whole school of them.
Yeah, right there. Did you see them?
Oh, there's a whole bunch of them. There's about 4 or 5 of them right there, straight ahead. I can see the tails are going up. Oh my goodness. Yeah, 4 or 5.
I should put some powder on.
Thank you, people.
Okay.
Oh, we did.
I got a relish.
Look at this one. Comes down all the way from up there. This one looks like it's fed by about 3 different glaciers coming down here.
Oh, wow.
Some very good when it's summer.
From the wake.
You can really hear it when it hits the wake. It's got a hole in it.
I'll be right down. Where are you? 6. Okay.
I see her.
Okay, stay right there. I'll be right there. What?
Deck 7, yeah. What? Deck 6.
It's amazing to hear it, eh?
This one's you hear over there.
All the way to the back.
And the elevation is only 38 feet.
And if we know that we're meeting somebody there, that's one long whistle to give them a warning. And then there's kind of some other...
Okay, you want to get in, Avery?
Oh my goodness. Oh wow.
Scenery of it.
I can't stick my foot out.
Cabin. Guys, this was built in 1924, about 100 years ago. This was built by the Alaska Road Commission. And this was a construction camp for the fine folks that built the park road that we were driving on all the way out here. So this cabin was actually located originally across the park road. They dragged it over here in the 1940s because of this excellent spruce forest that we find here.
Ooh, you can smell the wildfire.
Yeah, you really can. You can see it.
Yeah, it's really warm.
Oh, really? Yes. Do you have all your things with you?
I do.
That was smart.
And I want to hear some ooh and I want to hear some ah. Really couldn't move that well, and it took him 3 times to actually hit the spike for the first time. And he was sweating at the end. But left-hand side, that river that's flowing in, that's the Denali River. And so what you'll see is a lot of the rivers up here end in NA.
And Christopher.
For show. You're on the real deal today. This isn't Disneyland. There's no hidden motors, no railways under the water. This is an authentic stern wheel shallow draft vessel. All of our push and pull comes from the big orange wheel spinning out the back. We do have this there to help us with maneuvers like the 180-degree turn that Captain Ken is currently bringing us through. And I also want to point out that when I call this a shallow draft vessel, folks, I mean it. Because all of us put together, plus this boat today, weigh about 290 tons. And despite that, we're only drawing about 40 inches of water. Here. And she's actually a little bit bigger these days. Originally, when she was built, it was only a single-story vessel, but they kept realizing that passenger counts were going up, so they put that second story on there and made her about 10 feet longer. And I'd like to show you folks a couple pictures of the trip back in the early days here. Put those up on the screen. You can see Captain in Alaska. So our pilot Chris over there is going to fire up his 160 horsepower Lycoming engine, and you'll see him taking off just over here to our left. Taking off without breaking some FAA guidelines and breaking onto a tarmac. While he descends. As he gets down here close to the water, just kind of hangs it out to dry. He can't actually see the river at this point. It's just years of experience. And you can see that beautiful landing there. Sure, he bounced a teensy bit at the end, but this is Alaska. Anything you can walk away from is a 10. And folks, I'd like for you to get a chance to meet our amazing pilot over here because, well, they're all unique individuals, and they've all got stories to tell, so I'm going to see if I can flag him down on the radio and we can get to hear a little bit about his life. Discovery 3, paging 88 Zulu. Hey, how's the air up there this morning? Hey, Zulu, do we have you out on the radio? Yeah, loud and clear, you got me? Hey, we got you there. Hey, how was the flight out there this morning?
Visibility is not awesome, but it's good enough for what we're doing today.
Oh, that's fair enough. Well, I was still watching that really impressive takeoff and landing you did. A pretty close takeoff to us as well. We got a great view of your beautiful plane there. It's obvious you've got a lot of experience flying up here. Do you mind telling us a bit how you got started flying in Alaska?
Well, you know, I grew up in Texas, and I came up to Alaska, and I visited a buddy he took me out on a bush plane. We flew around Denali and landed on a sandbar in Mississippi River, and after that I was hooked. I had to start flying up here. That was 7 years ago, and I've never stopped.
Well, I feel really bad I didn't get the chance to introduce you by name. You mind introducing yourself to our crew over here?
My name's Drew. I'm a CFI and training captain.
Well, thank you, Drew. And I was looking at this plane that you're flying here today, this Piper Super Cub, which I was kind of mentioning to everybody, is a really important aircraft up here. People use them all the time in Alaska. Archer Monson, good morning, Tekla.
Well, good morning, everyone. Welcome to Trailbreaker Cow. It's such a treat to have you here today. We've got some enthusiastic Alaskan Huskies. We're going to go for a run. But first of all, I want to introduce you to the youngest members of our kennel. This little guy and his litter mates are 5 weeks old. They're really getting feisty. And so we like to bring them out here every day to do a little puppy training.
Well, now, Tekla, how does training work with these guys when they're so little? I know they can hardly run, let alone tug a sled.
Yeah, so the first thing that we do when they're really young is just bond with them. We want them to be really comfortable with humans and, of course, to know and trust us. So what my mom would do is during the first week of their life, she would go in with the mothers, pick up each little pup individually and blow across their noses. Now, this is because for the first 9 to 10 days of their life, their eyes aren't open yet, so they're really dependent on a sense of smell to get used to us. Then by the time their eyes do open and they're running around, you can see that they already trust humans. It's what my mom would call the trust and be trusted relationship, and that was so important to all the training that she did here. Now, when they're a little bit older like these guys, we like to bring them out to this little enclosure and encourage them to take jump over blocks. Now, at first, it can be a little bit challenging, so we have to help them. Then, once they're able to do it on their own like these guys, we will praise them on the other side. Yay! And this teaches the puppies that we're never going to ask them to go any farther or faster than they're capable of. And of course, we're always going to be there for them when things get tough. Work is so important and so much fun because these little guys are going to learn, first of all, that it's really fun to work together as a group. Second of all, they're going to start learning some of those voice commands that are going to be really important when we do put them into harness for the first time.
Well, speaking of going into harness, obviously that's a ways off for these little guys, but how do you know when they are going to be ready for that? Are you looking
for the rest of the team? So we want to have dogs running up there that we really know and trust. Now, in Lake State, we've got that blonde guy, Slim. He's one of my favorite dogs in the kennel. He's really determined, and he loves competition and running in the wintertime. Next up, we've got Trout. She's just 2 years old, but she's an awesome up-and-coming leader, so she gets to run with a dog that really knows what he's doing. Now, finally, we have swing dogs. In a race scenario, we don't have the luxury of using a sled like we do during the winter. Instead, we use this four-wheeler. We take out the engine and half the brakes, so these dogs can do what they love all year round.
Yeah, it's just a shame they're not more excited about this. All right, well, there she goes. Gives the command, and away they go. And notice, folks, go. Every other dog in the yard freaking out there. Hey, wait, pick me. I want to go.
At the lake, and these dogs are really flying. It's so impressive that they can carry me and the four-wheeler. Together we weigh about 400 yards.
And now, folks, I mentioned that trust and be trusted relationship. It's right there in the name that has to go both ways. You know, it's not just the dog. Seem like they're really into it this morning. I'm just kind of hoping that the brakes hold on that four-wheeler. And, all right. Another fantastic run today from Tekla.
Thank you so much. That was a lot of fun. And of course, after every training run, we go up and down the line and give every dog a pat on the head to let them know we appreciate their hard work.
Now, Tekla, I do want to take a few minutes to talk with everybody on board about this amazing book that your parents wrote. And I'm hoping that when we see you down at the Chena Village later, if somebody has a copy and would like you to personalize it or sign it for them, would you be able to do that? Hide for clothing and shelter, antlers and bones for crafts and tools, hooves, guts, sinew, brain, every part of that animal is going to get put to use. And because these guys are the same genus and species as the wild caribou, they
relatives of the caribou. Caribou are wild animals traveling in herds, often along the same migratory paths from one year to the next. They're called a skin hut. They were made from young spruce poles that were steamed, fed, and fastened together. Caribou hides were stretched around the dome for protection, and the steamed, bent spruce wood is covered in a layer of birch bark and sewn together with split spruce roots.
Largest game animal is found here in the interior. To your far right is the hide of the grizzly bear. In the middle is the moose, and then closest to me is the hide of the caribou. And to your left, I'm sure you've all noticed our full-size example of a bull moose. He was taken just north of us in the White Mountains, and he is a trophy-size rack of 73.5 inches. And you just learned that the caribou travel in herds, but the moose are solitary animals, so they traveled alone. And wow, what a skilled hunter. And since male moose are very territorial, that noise would actually cause one to come into the area and investigate. And would you folks like a demonstration? Sure. Okay. Peggy?
Here, Moosey, Moosey.
Now with a real moose call, hopefully that would call a moose to come into the area. She would then take a bone-tipped spear and use it to provoke the animal to charge, and then plant it at a steep angle. And when the moose came to rear up to stomp on the hunter, it would force to impale himself on the tip of the spear. And then all she had to do was skillfully roll out from underneath that heavy falling animal. This is our ceremonial chief's coat. Both of these garments are made out of tanned moose hide, and they are prepared in the exact same way like I just explained to you. After Western contact, the Athabascans traded their furs for their beads, and they became very well known for their intricate and beautiful beadwork designs. A Quakan Athabascan Yukon-style women's winter parka, and it is all traditional except the zipper going down the middle. We just keep that there so we can get it on and off quickly on these hot summer months. Traditionally, it'd be sewn together pullover style. The main body is beaver, and it is shirred for design. The black and white skin is calf skin, and it is trimmed with river otter and timber wolf. But now she's going to show us the sunshine ruff. The outer part is timber wolf, and the inner part is wolverine. And we always sew wolverine closest to the face because it prevents frostbite. Any leftover pieces would be made into tassels, wolverine tipped with timber wolf. And she would sew this on to show that her man was a skilled hunter, and he caught the tricky wolverine. But now she's going to show us the designs on the back. Skin sewing techniques and beadwork designs were passed down mother to daughter, generation after generation. And each family has their own design.
Well, hello everyone. My name is Hannah. I'm Quakan and Athabascan born here. The cross sections will be used as trimmings of parkas, but surprisingly, the make wasn't that valuable because the fur is too short and it didn't hold that much warmth. So they give this to young girls to practice their sewing skills, or they use it as a design. But after Western culture, his name changed to the money pelt. Now my last one here I have to show you is the beaver. And the beaver is a valuable animal because their meat is really good and their fur is very warm. Now,
yeah, I got saliva. Yeah, can load up the gravel or? Yeah.
And we had to go
look at those eggs. Look at all those eggs.
Oh, yeah.
That's a lot of eggs.
She wants someone to feed
Uncle Mac's motor.
Spells it wrong?
Yep.
Last time we took a picture together, it was 62. Yeah. Lucas, come here.
To get started, I am up front here. You want to just turn around on those benches or you can come forward. Welcome everyone to Gold Dredge number 8 in Fox, Alaska on what has turned into a beautiful afternoon here in the Gold Stream Valley. All the weather said rain all day. I got my rain jacket, but I think I can leave it behind this afternoon. My name is George Peterson, and I'm going to be your narrator and guide while you are with us this afternoon, and I'll tell you a little bit about myself. Authentic, real Gold Rush era machinery, some of it over 120 years old. Now once the miners had all their equipment in place, they went out of the shaft. It would travel up the line like you see it doing here, and that bucket would drop its contents into a pile of material like this beside me. That is called pay dirt. Pay dirt crane would be 100 feet straight up in the air. That's the original elevation of the floor of the valley.
Fairbanks. Yeah, it stands for Fairbanks something or other.
Alright, so here is Gold Dredge number 8. This is one of 8 dredges owned and operated by the FE Company. This machine is manufactured by the Bethlehem Steel Corporation in the shipyards down in San Francisco Bay. It was shipped up in parts, assembled in the field. Started digging August 25th, 1928. Last day of work, end of season 1959. The dredge stopped right here. It has been sitting on this spot since that day. In operation, this gold dredge was really a simple machine that did 3 things. This gold dredge chewed up gold-bearing gravel, it swallowed gold, it spit out rock. And I'm going to explain those 3 steps to you in some detail. And as I do, there'll be animation up on the screens to illustrate the dredge, and that bucket would then come back down to get another load. Number 8 could move 22 buckets per minute when it was digging at top speed. So all that gold-bearing gravel elevated, dropped into the hopper, and that hopper fed directly into the trommel. The trommel is a big cylinder, 36 feet long, got a 6-foot inside diameter. It starts high at the hopper, slopes down towards the back of the dredge. That trommel is perforated with holes along its entire length, making it a screen. About a 1/4-inch diameter holes towards the front of the dredge. They get bigger as you go back to about 1 5/8 inches. And in operation, that trommel screen rotated like a big rock tumbler. It was moving around and around. So there's your gold. I got a nice pan here. And when you see that gold, there is no mistaking it. You'll know what it is. Now, if you get to the very bottom here and there's no gold in your pan, it doesn't happen very often, but if it does, let us know. We'll get you another poke and we'll help you start over. But if you get to the very bottom, you did all that work, all that hard work, and there is no gold in your pan. You can say to yourself, probably, for the first time in your life, literally, now listen, it just didn't pan out. You like that? 6 days a week I'm here with them. All right. So there you got nice clean gold. To get the gold out of the pan is real simple. You'll have a film container next to you when you sit down. You pop the lid of the container, put it inside the pan, get a dry fingertip, and if you press on that wet gold with the dry finger, it'll stick. You tap it off in your container, and you are all set. How about a hand for Kurt and Josh? Over the field. You guys see that gold? It is mounted on the back of the dredge right there, in between that tail sluice and that anchor spud. So underneath the stacker we go and into main camp. Again, when you exit the train, your All-Alaska crew will be right there. They'll hand you your poke. You head into the panning shed, and you...
No, you're doing this right now. All right.
Oh, Grandma got a lot of dirt.
Now what do you do next?
Avery's got tons.
How many did you get, Avery?
I haven't been counting. I think I have like 10 in there, but I still have more in my pan.
Kyle got 4. What'd Shannon get?
Maybe 10.
10's good.
I think I'll be good.
You'll be good?
I think I got a picture last time.
Oh, have you guys been here before?
Me and my parents have 4 years.
It's coming up quick. It was a short summer. It's always a short summer. They the only company. They were the only company. There was a few.
Jobs at the house at the garden centre. Chicken has been picking out gold. Hey, Granny, this is our day.
One more time, goodbye to that cleaner, recovery, and shutdown. So gold dredge number 8 by itself.